Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. We do have some updates from Charles Watts, Fabrizio Romano, and of course around Joao Felix and Mykhailo Mudryk as well. So be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well, and let's get this thing to 300 likes. Now, let's start off with Fabrizio Romano. He's been speaking about Yunus Musah at a couple of clubs that are interested in him, and he said he could be moving in January, between January and June 2023. There is a possibility that any club can actually sign him. He says Arsenal have sent scouts to look at Yunus Musah before the World Cup and even during the World Cup, and they're really interested, and probably they will be able to go back with a second offer because the first one was actually rejected. Now, look, you guys know I love Yunus Musah. You know how much I really rate that young USA, boy. Played at Arsenal, left in 2019. He's still a very, very young lad. I think this really corresponds with what Charles Watts has actually been talking about, because again, Charles Watts has said Arsenal do not want to sign anyone that doesn't have that long-term value to the project. Although it's January, although we're trying to chase the title, it's not about bringing anyone that can help us win the title and probably leave in the next 2-3 years. It's going to be a player who's got that intrinsic value, a player who's got that ability to develop an increase in value over the next 3, 4, 5 years. And probably Arsenal could sell him, or he could stay around and be part of this project that we are actually building. So Yunus Musah, for me, ticks all the boxes when it comes to what Arsenal want. We want a young midfielder, energetic, someone who can play as a central midfielder, someone who can play as a defensive midfielder as well. I think our biggest scare has always been when Thomas Partey is out, when Thomas Partey is injured, when Thomas Partey cannot play in that pivot. That has always been our biggest scare. The rest of the positions, although we do not have enough cover in all of them, I think we can gamble our way out. If Jesus is injured, I think we can gamble with Edin Ketia. If Odegaard is injured, we can gamble with ESR or Fabio Vieira, and then it works out. But with Thomas Partey, it has happened time in, time out, time again and time again. If he's injured, no one steps in. No one can actually give us what he gives us. I think his role in this Arsenal team is so vital, but again, very, very tiresome. I think he's actually occupying those positions where you can even you can easily say no one can replace him and no one can do what he does. So Fabrizio says it's not only Arsenal interested in Yunus Musah. I'm not really surprised with that bit. I think it's so good, and it's gonna be attracting attention from all over the world. So there are other clubs in the Premier League that are interested in signing Yunus Musah, but I still feel Arsenal can get this one done. Now the positive though is that he says he can move in January to June. I don't think Valencia are really gonna sell him in January. I've seen what he does. I've seen how important he is to Valencia, and I don't think the player is in a rush to move away. He joined them in 2019. This is 22. How many years down the road? That's around 2 years. Down the road, or 3 years down the road. I really don't feel he's under any kind of panic to leave. I think he's happy with the management, Gattuso and Valencia. So I think he might stay through January, and if Arsenal wants him and we are serious about signing him or bringing him back to the Emirates Stadium, then that is going to be in the summer. But it's a good guy. I've already said, look, I won't be very surprised if I see him at a club like Leicester. I won't be very surprised if I see him at a club like Liverpool or a club like Newcastle. I think for me, he's one that can play anywhere in the Premier League right now. Yeah, probably. Look, he's still very, very young. He's only 20, so there's a lot of polishing to do on his game. There's a lot of patience that's going to require. He's going to make a lot of mistakes, especially playing in that defensive role on the pitch. But he's one where I would invest my money and I would invest my time. And I know in the next 2-3 years, Yunus Musah is going to become the next Alexander Song-Belong for Arsenal. And I'm saying this not because Alexander Song-Belong is a legend, By the time he spent at Arsenal, the time he was at Arsenal, he was a very, very, very good guy. So, Yunus Musah, Fabrizio says Arsenal have been sending scouts to monitor this guy. A few Premier League clubs are also doing the same, and that shows you the level of quality and the level at which he's playing currently. So, mark my words, Arsenal should sign Yunus Musah, and this is coming from me, not because he's been at Arsenal, but because I've watched him, I've watched Valencia, I'm following the La Liga, I'm following the Italian Serie A, and I'm telling you, one player we need to sign from La Liga this season is Yunus Musah from Valencia. Now, moving on, we do have some update from the Mykhailo Mudryk side. So, Shakhtar director Sina has actually come out and said the sale of Mykhailo Mudryk, or any clubs interested in Mykhailo Mudryk, are going to have to cough up a lot of money. And the reason is that Shakhtar Donetsk feel Joao Grealish and Mykhailo Mudryk are at the same level. If anyone paid 100 million euros or 100 million pounds, depending on how the deal was structured, for Joao Grealish, they must pay 100 million for Mykhailo Mudryk as well. Now, I think we've been through this stage of denial, acceptance, and then denial again, and then acceptance again, and that is what Shakhtar are actually doing. They know the player doesn't want to stay with them, and they're ringing alarm bells. They want to create some kind of a bidding war. I think they're trying to tell everyone available and everyone interested in the player that he is available, and this is our asking price. But, I think on the other side, they're also trying to ask, how much do you have to offer us in Mykhailo Mudryk? Now, I don't have a problem with the club setting the price for their player, however ridiculous the price is. I think if I had two players, Mykhailo Mudryk and Joao Felix, and I had to spend 100 million euros, I would spend that money on Joao Felix. It's a no-brainer. It's an easy decision. It's a no-brainer for me because Joao Felix has played on Europe longer, and I think he's proven that he's a more quality player than Mykhailo Mudryk. Look, I love Mykhailo Mudryk, and I think he's a very, very good line. If he came at Arsenal, he would really give us a lot in terms of depth, in terms of quality, in terms of exciting features that we do not have in our team. But for 100 million euros, that is a different level. That is a different kind of player. Players that move for 100 million euros, Kylian Mbappe at the moment, Joao Felix at the moment, I would pay 100 million euros for Joao Felix. I think with Mykhailo Mudryk, it's more of these 2-3 goals that he has scored in the UEFA Champions League. And you remember when I said in October that the problem with Mykhailo Mudryk is that he's going to do well in the UEFA Champions League, and Shakhtar will feel if anyone doesn't have 100 million euros, we are not selling. And it just happened. So, listen, if they want to get the price Aston Villa got for Joao Grealish, I don't think they're going to get that. And I don't think they're going to get that from Arsenal. We've already confirmed that we are working with only 50 million euros. So unless they're saying you're going to give us 30 million euros and pay the 70 million euros in installments, for me, that would be a very bad deal for Arsenal, because in the summer, I can get Musah Diaby for significantly less than that. I can get Pedro Neto from Wolverhampton Wanderers for significantly less than that as well. So Shakhtar, if they want to sell, they should be realistic with their price. The price should not be above 60 million euros, and that is going to be paid in installments. It's not going to be paid upfront. Arsenal will not pay 100 million euros for Mykhailo Mudryk to Shakhtar upfront. It's going to be in installments, and we are not going to allow the price. It's going to be either 60 million euros or something slightly below that. So for me, I believe they will sell, and I know they will sell. They're just trying to create this kind of commotion. They're just trying to be smart, and I don't think Arsenal really gonna fall for it. There's so many available players on the market. I don't think I'm really happy with the Spanish side and national team and how they performed in the World Cup, because I really did support them. But I think Marco Asensio had did give us some glimpses of quality, and especially the fact that Enrique played him down to the middle as a false nine in a few appearances only means that he's that versatile, and if Arsenal wants him, we can even get him in January. So Mykhailo Mudryk for 100 million euros, no, it's a no-brainer, it's a no-deal. Fabrizio Romano, yesterday on Joao Felix, he actually said Joao Felix has made up his mind to leave Atletico Madrid. It is it's a final decision. There is no turning back from this one, and he wants to try out a new challenge, get a new experience in January. So I was watching Ben Jacobs again on the Football Terrace, and was saying that Joao Felix felt like his career path at Atletico Madrid was gonna be longer than Diego Simeone's. But the problem is that Diego Simeone looks and feels, and he is untouchable at Atletico Madrid. Look, if I'm Atletico Madrid, between Joao Felix and Diego Simeone, who can I afford to lose? I can afford to lose Joao Felix, but we cannot afford to lose Diego Simeone. It's the same thing with Mikel Arteta and Mesut Ozil, Mikel Arteta and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Mikel Arteta and all these guys that have had this kind of urge to leave, an urge to disorganize the dressing room. There is no player bigger than the club, and eventually player power comes to an end, and the player will leave at the end of the day, right? Unless, unless if you're Manchester United. But even if you're Manchester United, you can have some nerve, you can have some strength to get rid of a player like Ronaldo. So with Joao Felix, I think it was all wrong from the start. They both got into bed for the wrong reasons, and it's now backfiring. It's now bringing dividends that actually no one wants to be wants to be harvesting. So with Joao Felix to Arsenal, I've already told you my take on this one. It is 100% yes. Get him down, get it done, bring him to the carpet. He's going to be a revelation of a signing. He's going to be another Alexis Sanchez for Arsenal coming from Spain. How much are we willing to pay for Joao Felix? If it's 100 million and that money has to be paid in terms of a release clause, I don't think we are up for that. I don't think we are up for that drama. But if it's 100 million and we have to pay this for 3 years, because with Joao Felix, it means we don't sign a new striker. We don't have to do that. We don't sign another winger. We don't have to do that. Actually, Joao Felix, apart from the fact that he might get injured, he's an all package, an already made package of a forward. He can't play anywhere on that pitch. He can also do anything. Change games, win games for you, and bring games back to life. So sign Joao Felix, get it done. We are gonna compete with Manchester City, Bayern, PSG. I don't even care if we can tell him about the project. If we can tell him how beautiful our project is, he definitely will want to play with us, and he will definitely see the intrinsic value in our squad and in our project. So get it done. This one is a no-brainer, guys. It's an absolute no-brainer, unless otherwise. So, look, I just love the sound of that. And finally, Charles Watts also said that Arsenal will not do any rush dealings in January. The club are looking at Danilo and Yuri Tillemans. We are discussing those internally. But the most important part of that is that we won't be signing any players for only the short run. So we might not see Arsenal doing loan deals that are gonna last for 6 months. We might also not be able to do deals that we feel should just take us over the line, and then we focus on the summer. Every deal that we are gonna do in January is actually going to matter. That's according to Charles Watts. Every deal that we are gonna focus on in January is gonna be for the better of the long run. It's gonna be the best long-term deal that Arsenal have spotted in the market. Whether it's Mykhailo Mudryk, whether it's Memphis Depay, whether it is Marcus Thuram, it has to be a player that we believe is going to be part of this Arsenal team for quite some time. It's gonna bring some value for some time, and that value must be the best value in the long run. And that is where deals like Memphis Depay might actually do not happen. Yes, he's 28 and he still has some 4 years on his of his career active, But I think with Joao Felix and Mykhailo Mudryk available, I don't see us going for Memphis Depay. But what do you think about the January transfer market? It's going to be interesting in my opinion. We have football coming back. So it's going to be very, very busy, dealing with a lot of football and then dealing with a lot of football speculation and transfer speculation. But in my opinion and on my side, I'm ready. I think I've taken enough breaks that I actually didn't even need. And we're going to be covering the January transfer window right from December throughout January. And then we'll pick out from there in the summer. I'll speak to you in the next one. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm out.